Hi, and welcome to Your Prosperity, a podcast series on financial topics including tax, wealth creation, superannuation, lending, audit, and many other things that we deal with here on a regular basis at Prosperity Advisors. As with all financial podcasts, any advice you hear in this is general in nature and not to be relied upon. Please contact us for any specific advice.
Hi, and welcome to the podcast. Today is the 4th of December 2024. I'm here with ghoward, who's one of our managers here in the Brisbane office in the BS&T team at Prosperity. And as we like to talk all things prosperity, one of the things we thought we'd chat about, I was chatting to Grant last week about this, and we thought it might be something good to do on a podcast, and just about some of the benefits of giving up-to-date data, probably more particularly around things like zero files, MIAB files, etc. But keeping up-to-date data and why that's useful. I guess we have nothing worse, you got a client, you're looking at stuff in November for them, which is for the, say the current 23-24 financial year. If the first time you're looking at live, accurate data, not live so much, but accurate data, is now when you're preparing, say, a tax return, and some of that data dates back to July 2023. Well, that's 16 months old or whatever it is. Like, it's a long time ago to make changes. So it's really important to be up to date with your data to run your business. And I guess Grant's going to run through some tips he's got, some ideas on how to save efficiencies, and yeah, maybe some tips as well. So Grant, thanks for joining us and welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks for the opportunity so I can talk about an issue that doesn't get a whole lot of limelight. It's not particularly interesting, but I just see it in the modern world as something that's absolutely critical. And that is what you've already raised, keeping your data files up to date.
And you're right, it's a modern day thing, isn't it? Like 20 years ago, we didn't have these sort of data files, and we didn't have that information so readily available that it's sort of, it's changing the way modern business works now. You've really got to have accurate data, and you've got to have it up to date and quick access.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember getting shoe boxes delivered, and that I'm sorting out a business from there going, oh, you made money last year, and they go, did I?
Yeah.
Really flip now that the business owners are coming to me saying we've made money or we haven't made money. What's the problem?
And excellent. And that's what you want. Hopefully they're making the money, but yeah, they're seeing the data that's doing that.
Yeah. So I thought I'd cover off on 5 topics that I see as...
I love a top 5.
Top 5 and sort of how they can help. And then I've also got can talk a little bit about the benefits of management reporting, which is something we offer at Prosperity. So the biggest topic I think is just efficiency. Saving time and reducing errors is number one. But we all know small business have pretty limited resources. It's usually yourself and maybe, if you're lucky, your wife or your husband doing the work. And if you're really lucky, you might have a bookkeeper out there. So you're doing your day job, doing the work, and then at night, a lot of people sit down and then they come back to do their books, whether or not they're sending out their invoices or reconciling their bank accounts.
Yeah.
But I know too many clients don't do that. Like, you get home, you've got kids, you've got family, you want your own personal time, and that gets on the too hard basket. And then I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, I'll do it on the weekend. You know how it goes. So
yeah,
I think knowing that you're limited, it's still got to be on the forefront of your mind that it has to be done, and it's so critical. I have this analogy that I use. It's called the ceiling god, where clients sit there and they go at night and they're in bed and they're going, geez, should I do this? Should I buy that piece of equipment? Or should I, take on this new product line? And they're just talking to the ceiling. They've got no data to back it up. They're just guessing and they're going on their gut feel. And a lot of times that gut feels pretty on par, but sometimes it can go really, really wrong. So it's just critical, like, to have data that's up to date. If you closed off, well, what are we, 4th of December? So in the next 2 or 3 days, can you be closing off your November accounts?
Yeah, that's right. And you're right. When you got the ceiling god, I don't mind that one. It's a bit like the old adage where they say, the bank account's gone up, I must have made money. Like, it's just, it's a guide and it's a gut feel maybe, but it's not data. It's not accurate. It's not going to help you make decisions.
Yeah. So it's little things like making sure you've got the right customer details, like you've got the right ABN, you've got the right email address, and the right person you're sending it to, and that you're getting your invoices out quickly. Like, if you do the job and the invoice is there the next day or two, you're so much better off, and you're so much more likely to get paid faster, as opposed to taking a week to do it. And like, I'll try and keep this as general as possible. So I know some industries are pretty standard on 30 days end of month payment. So if you miss that time frame and you send it on the 1st and not the 30th, you just cost yourself another 30 days of getting paid. So there's little things like that.
But even the mindset too, I know from depending on what industry we're talking about, if you do a good job for someone and they're happy with it, if they get an invoice, they're more likely just to pay it straight away and get on with it. If it comes out a week or two later, yeah, the fuzzy feeling of the great job you did is not there in their mind. It sort of just sits in the pile, and cash is king. We got to get cash in the door. So if you don't bill it, you don't get the cash in. And if you only get the cash in, how do you pay your expenses?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I actually, personal note, I had some landscaping done at my house, and he sent the invoice. We just had a chat to him. We loved his work, and he sent the invoice within 10 minutes after we left.
Yeah,
We paid it that night. So, perfect
exactly.
example of he's saved himself a week, because I would have done what I said I shouldn't do and put it off. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, but
So,
there's
so
lots of little wins
what's
there.
some of the benefits, I guess? What else can we get from getting that in? Obviously, getting bills out is great. What else is there in there?
Well, it can be the other side, getting all your costs in as well. I think for me, the biggest thing is like closing off a month or getting your file up to date, is having everything in there, not just trying to rush. Or like, I think bookkeeping all evolved from just reconciling the bank isn't the finished product. It's probably the start, but it's getting all the other data in there, so that we can have a better look at how the actual month's gone. It sort of leads into my next point, which is informed decision making. So it's good that you've got the bank rec in there, you're done. You're happy that you've recorded all the invoices for the good work you've done during the month, and you've got all your bills from your creditors that you have to pay. And then it's going a little bit step further then, and this gets a little bit accounty, and it'll be dependent on the industries, but I think of the biggest service industries where you've got a few more moving parts. It's not just you providing your service, it's actually you providing stock and materials, and other contractors, and it's trying to align those costs so that they land in the month that your invoice raises. So it's moving things around so that the timing feels right. Some people say they had a really good month. You look at what the numbers are saying, because they might have billed it on the 1st, but all the costs were, they bought material this month, but they don't bill it to next month. It looks like a really bad month. So it's trying to move costs and income to be where they should be.
Yeah, representative of when you actually like, not so much when you pay it or when the invoice is raised, but when you've incurred that cost and when it's, because you're right, you could bill a heap of things in 1 month and claim it's a good month, but if you got to pay all the expenses the next month, it's like, well, was it a
Yeah.
good month?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, a lot of this management reporting stuff we're talking about can be different to tax. So there's a couple of different hats a business owner are wearing. We still want to get the right tax deduction and actually minimize any tax outcomes for the client, but it is still trying to get those management reports, or whether or not it's our financial statements, to be a bit more meaningful.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of businesses have gone past that cash recording. It needs to be a bit more accruals basis, so that you are recording things, even though you might not have paid it in the month. You've incurred it. You've got the bill sitting in your drawer. You just haven't paid them yet.
Yep. Yeah.
But up to date data and informed decision making can also be using month to month, like sales trends, like seeing how you go, looking at some of your customer data. Like if you're not just recording in an item to sales, you're actually saying, well, it's from XYZ, it was to XYZ, and it was for these products. You do that over a long enough period, 12 months, 24 months, you can actually start to see some trends in analysis.
Yep. So it's really delving deeper into
Yeah.
that data, not just going, what were my sales like, but and if you've got up-to-date data, you can do that. I mean, you can look at a bank account and see what the credits hitting it are. But yeah, if you've got actual real data in there, you can start looking at, well, what product lines are selling well, what aren't selling well, what should I be focusing on? So yeah, absolutely.
Someone might have, their sales might have dropped off a little bit, and you might be able to give them a call, say, hey, notice you're not buying as much. Is there any reason for that? And the conversation go anywhere from there, but hopefully it leads to, oh, thanks for touching base. I just needed that chat and that little human interaction, because it is a bit of a digital world and we all sort of lean back on emails a little bit too much. So, picking up the phone can never be underestimated how valuable that can be.
Yeah, and that's going to help with that. I guess your client or your customer satisfaction. I know that's I'm reading ahead on your cheat sheet here. That was your third point
Yeah.
you're going into there, but that customer satisfaction is great because if your clients are happy with what you're doing and you're suggesting stuff to them and you know pitching some ideas to them really on what they could do based on their data, well, they got to be happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not going to have much of a business without customers, so you've got to keep them happy, and just doing the little things right can make such a big difference. Like, it sounds trivial, but it's really not. It is so
Mm.
important just to get the little bits right and pick up the phone, have a chat to them. If there's something wrong, just bite the bullet and deal with it. Don't push it off. Don't ignore their emails or phone calls. Just,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's we're delving well past up-to-date financial data there. That's just
yeah,
good customer relationship. Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Number four, I had, look, this is an unsexy part. It's the legal requirement. You got to get it done.
Yeah.
So the ATO or OSR or other some government agencies that you might have to report to, they've got deadlines, whether or not it's a monthly BAS or it's just your once a year tax return. You've got to do it, and there's pretty substantial fines and penalties if you don't. But I think it's a little bit more than that. That it's all well and good for something to be due on the a BAS be due 28 days after the end of the quarter. Don't lodge it on the 28th of the month following, then go, oh no, I've got 100 grand to pay. I don't have that cash. Like, prepare it on the second or third, or even the 10th of the month, and know earlier that you've got a big payable. At least you've got a couple of weeks to either try and find the cash, or if you don't have the cash, it might be a little alarm bell in your head to go, oh, maybe something's wrong there. That doesn't feel right. It's too
Mm.
much. We don't have the cash. Or um, you might be able to enter into a payment arrangement with the ATO, for example, if you needed to, or come up with some sort of plan. You can't do those things when you've got 5 hours to do it. You can do it when you've got a couple of weeks, and you can talk to your accountant, talk to your business advisor about what's going on.
Yeah, and hopefully you've got an idea of when they might be the pay-as-you-go installments or something that's kicking that up or something. But hopefully you realise or you have a bit of an idea what's going on. But absolutely right with anything, if you're lodging it on the last day, it's a bit late to start going, oh, hold on, wait a minute, what's that for? So yeah, having a bit more time on those is always a good thing.
Yeah. The fifth point I had was enabling growth and scalability. This one's a little bit different. I suppose you need to keep your data up to date, but it actually helps. Like, ideally, you want your business to grow and expand, and whether or not that's new divisions or new product lines or just bigger customers or more sales in general. Um, I find a lot of businesses start off with one person in their accounts team, and they just do everything, but that soon becomes obsolete when your business is almost doubled. And the amount of invoices you're getting in is tripling, and then you've got your payrolls spiraling. You got all these people that you need to pay on time, and you're putting this on the shoulders of that one person. So it's leveraging off, like, whether or not it's a CRM machine, or making sure that you've got your finance team big enough so that if you did want to take on something, whether or not it's buy another business, a competitor out, or just open up a new shop in a different market, in a different state or a different suburb, like, the data's there,
Mm.
and your systems and processes can handle that as well.
And knowing where you want to
Yeah.
expand to too. If you've got
Mm.
data, as you were talking about before, you get to know, well, hold on, this is actually, you might start a business thinking this is what I do, and it might sort
Mm.
of change direction a bit when you realize, hold on, I'm actually making a lot more money doing Y instead of X.
Yeah.
Maybe I should focus a bit more on Y, and having that data is when you can see that.
Yeah, absolutely. You're selling to a different state that you weren't thinking, or just a different suburb, and well, yeah, maybe a footprint there makes sense.
Yeah, and even having that data up to date, I guess, because the technology is changing so quick. If you're not using, even AI really now at the moment, if you're not using some sort of
Mm.
system that's, helping you read your invoices, collate it, import it into Zero, do that sort of stuff. I mean, that's where you can have some huge savings as well. So if your team are under the pump, it's maybe using a bit of technology as well to
Yeah,
get that data in, because data is key. If you can see it all and you know what's happening in your business, how do you know? Well, they see the data. The data doesn't lie. So,
it doesn't lie. Can uncover some uncomfortable truths. Sometimes you have some hard discussions with people, when the numbers seem to tell a different story. But yeah, like you said, it generally doesn't lie.
Yeah.
And you just have to deal with it and take it on board.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, having that data is very, very important from a point of view of growing your business, knowing where your business is going and knowing where you're making profit. But yeah, that point of expanding as well, knowing where to expand. It's a very good point actually to know where you want to push into and what's working well for you, and that keeps you on top of it, because looking at data 18 months after it started is not the way it is. Might have been the way 30 years ago, but these days you've got so much information at your fingertips that you should be able to use that. So
Sorry, I was just going to cover the risk of getting something wrong is like cost of funds now is so high that, making a wrong decision like that can have a severe impact on your business. So like, no one has a crystal ball. We know that you can still make wrong decisions with the best data, but geez, it's going to give you a better chance of getting it
absolutely.
right.
Yeah. So what's some tips we can give to do that? How do we do it? Where do you start? What's the process, Grant? What do you talk to your clients about?
So every client's different. So I was talking to them about what are their bugbears or what do they think they need in every business, and they go, I just don't have time to check it, or I just don't think what my bookkeeper's putting in isn't right. It just doesn't seem enough. It's not talking. The results aren't talking to me like I think they are, just from my general business owner feel. So little things you can implement along the way are, like I was sort of saying on the start, is reviewing your data, like reviewing your customer data to make sure that they're up to date. You're sending your invoices to the right person, so you're getting paid on time. They're not bouncing back and you just don't have time to resend it to the right person. It's like you were saying before about AI, it's leveraging where you can, any CRM systems, or this, like we're all in the world of the MyObs and the Zeros now. There's a lot of cool add-ons that can leverage off those, like for payroll, like Employment Hero, for example, where that can make such a big difference to your business when it can read all the award systems that people get paid on and make sure people get paid right, and it can save all the data entry time down. So it's looking out there in the market and what is out there that can help your business. It's making sure your team's up to date with everything. I was sort of talking about earlier about your business expanding, but your internal finance team's not. Making sure that you have the right people, but they actually know how to use all the programs you're using. Programs are a complete waste of money if no one uses them or they don't use them correctly.
I'd reckon most programs, I'd say this generally, most people use 40% of a program and don't actually get the full benefit out of a program.
Yeah.
Everyone's good at implementing, executing and following through and understanding what you can get out of programs. Like, people use 10% of Microsoft Excel, to be honest. Like there's so much you can do with programs that is just waiting to be used in most businesses. And I'm guilty of that myself as well.
Yeah. And then it's kind of the counter to the first one, but it's eliminate all the old data, get rid of it. Get all the duplicate files that you build up in your system and just the wrong customers or people that have left, years ago, never coming back. Just get rid of it out of your files. So it's just clean. It's right.
Clean's the key, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, just cleansing it.
So having up-to-date data, that's going to help you make decisions, whether it be improve your sales, expand your business, or understand your cash and who's not paying or what's working in your business. And I guess some of those tips are quite handy, but at the end of the day, it's just get in and do it, isn't it? It's make it a priority in your business, because this is your business that you're running. If you don't have the data, how can you possibly make good decisions? And there's so many tools out there can help, not just, obviously accountants can help with that, but just using the software that you currently probably have and getting a good understanding of that, or even getting an understanding of someone helping you pull that data, knowing what reports to pull, ask for some help, if it might even be teeing up a quarterly meeting with your trusted advisors where you go, okay, let's meet more regularly. Let's look at this. Let's get accurate data. We'll get it up to date. And then we can meet semi-regularly, talk about it, and make some decisions and make some change in the business for the good, which rather than just tick along and how do we go this year? Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, let's do the same next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be really simple, like catching up with an advisor. Look, I've seen some pretty schmick management reporting packs that get sent out, but it can honestly be a P&L and a balance sheet type at the start. Like they evolve over time, but don't get don't want people to get scared off by thinking, oh, it's a big process. It's pages of reporting that I don't want to do each month. It can be a couple of pages of like a P&L, and it might be able to do that on a certain division, and then it might be something like
sales trends or something.
Sales trends, and then reviewing your debtors list, running your debtor list, and if you're in 90 days there, maybe I need to think about calling them, or why are they in 90 days? What's going on? That's money you don't have that you've done all the work for.
Yeah.
It's just picking up those little things. But manager reporting is great. It's something I'm really love, and I like helping clients with them regularly. We have a few that every quarter they'll come in and we'll go through the reporting. And we've found some pretty, I wouldn't say issues, but there's things they can work on.
Things they can improve.
And then you see some trends, and like, I'm not saying they've businesses grown because of me, but just helping them, point them in the right direction.
Take the credit.
I'm too modest for that. But it's just, you can see the improvements. Well, we've helped them along the way.
And I find that too, when you have one of those meetings, you might prepare reports, as you say. There could be some pretty schmick management accounts out there. Like, you look at those things, that's one thing, but unless you actually do something with it, like, you've got to use that to get the data. But the key is then making a decision and changing what your attitude or your behavior or your process or something goes with that. So it's one thing to get the data and look at it and go, great. But if you're not going to actually then implement and hold yourself accountable for the next steps on that, then I guess it doesn't change. It just means you're looking at it more regularly. So yeah, getting the data up to date, getting good reports, and then actioning a change is where, any business, no matter the industry, small, big, medium, whatever it is, you can absolutely do something with that. So, Grant, appreciate your time. We'll wrap it up because we keep it as a quick podcast, but that's some good information there, and hopefully anyone listening is getting the gist that, hey, we need to get some accurate data, then we can get accurate reports, then we can make decisions, and people can make their businesses better and more prosperous. Let's go with that one.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Brent. Thanks for the opportunity again.
Thanks, Grant. Thanks for your time. Hope you all enjoyed the podcast today. Thanks, Grant, for coming in and sharing a bit of knowledge with us. For those who want to reach out to us, you can find us at prosperity.com.au. Click on the links, find myself, find Grant. Click on the previous podcasts, find that, and follow along. And thanks, everyone. And thanks, Grant, for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for today's podcast. Hopefully you liked it, and if so, please give us a few stars, like and share. And if you'd like to follow the series, please subscribe and pass any information on to your friends as well if you think they might like it. For more information about who we are, head to prosperity.com.au and follow the links.